Hey, what's going on everyone? Steven Laggy Gamer back again, bad lighting and all, but this time with another game discussion video. As you can see in the background here, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, the HD edition. I played it on PlayStation Vita. Right now I just have like a YouTube clip of the intro title screen playing in the background, but had it on the Vita. Wanted to get the PS3 version of this because it came with Peace Walker as well. Well, a long time back, there was a sale on PSN where Peace Walker was really cheap. So I went ahead and downloaded that digital copy of it and went ahead and picked up this Vita copy to keep me covered as far as the handheld side. Because I love the Vita, love playing things on handheld, so much easier. And like Kingdom Hearts, which I recently did a video on, the Metal Gear franchise is one that I've been wanting to play through again recently as well, because Phantom Pain was coming out. And there are some entries in the series that I have yet to beat, and Metal Gear Solid 3 was one of them. This Metal Gear Solid 3 is known as being one of the best, if not the best, entries in the franchise. And it was one that, I kid you not, this was probably the fourth or fifth time I tried restarting this game back up to try to play it, because every time I did, I just couldn't get into it for some reason. Maybe it was being in that forest environment out in the jungle and stuff, but I just could not get into the game. I don't know what it was those times I was playing it, but it wasn't hooking me. It just was not hooking me. But this time I vowed to see it through. As you know, I just recently beat Kingdom Hearts. Just a few days ago I put the video up. So within this past week I started this game up and I've beaten it. I couldn't put it down because I was that hooked into the game. Now before I start going over Metal Gear Solid 3, I can give you a brief background on my history with the franchise to fill you in. Because I know there's some die-hard fans with it. Me, I started off early with it and just kind of fell off on it. And along with that story and stuff being convoluted and everything, it's something I don't really remember as far as Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 what the story are. I remember Metal Gear Solid 1 more than 2, but a lot of stuff is just vague in there. I can't remember anything. So I wanted to restart everything chronologically, and Metal Gear Solid 3 is the very first entry chronologically to play. Now earlier in the year, I played Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops. I played this, which ties in right after Metal Gear Solid 3. The reason I started with Portable Ops is because I didn't want to start with 3 again. Because I didn't want to put up with having to replay it and go through it again and not being hooked into it. So I went ahead and played Portable Ops earlier this year. I've also already played and beaten Metal Gear Solid 2, which right here. I have the PS2 entries, but I'm not going to dig through them. I played Metal Gear Solid 2, but it all started off for me with the original Metal Gear. This is a beat up case and everything, but Metal Gear Solid is one that I did play first and beat. I played it on my sister's boyfriend who was living with us at the time. He had a PlayStation, and I played it on, it was his game, his system, and any chance I would, I'd get back there and sneak some time into it. And he would wind up getting frustrated because I would get further than him in the game. And anytime I was further than him, he would kind of hold his console hostage so I couldn't play it. That way he can kind of catch up or even beat it before me. But nonetheless, I was able to beat Metal Gear Solid for the first time way back when he had his PS1. Now during this time, I think the Dreamcast and stuff was already out. So it was in the later years of the PS1. PS2 might have been out already. We just didn't have one yet. And that's when I played Metal Gear. Loved it. And so when Metal Gear Solid 2 came out, Metal Gear Solid 2, I went ahead and picked up that one and played that as well. Playing through his ride in those was a little weird, especially when you got that demo disc. I forget what game it came with. Zone of the Enders. Zone of the Enders came with that demo disc of Metal Gear Solid 2 where you were on the ship and you're playing as Solid Snake and you're just walking around and holding people hostage. So I played that demo for hours. Great demo. And then you find out you're playing with Raiden most of the game. But I still liked it, even the nude flipping and all. And after that is when I had my long break from it. I hadn't played anything since 2 until Portable Ops earlier this year. And I do have Guns of the Patriot sitting up there waiting for me. I don't know if it's in here or if it's out in the living room where I keep games that I'm going to play. But as far as that was it until earlier this year when I started playing Portable Ops because I wanted to get back into the franchise. Portable Ops earlier this year, downloaded. I want to get in there and start playing Peace Walker right now. I do have the Vita copy, or I mean PSP copy. I want to get in there and start playing it now because I'm just in that Metal Gear mood. I know it's the only other game I have to play chronologically before I can move on to Phantom Pain, because Phantom Pain will be the next one after Peace Walker chronologically. So it'd be cool to get that out the way. Unfortunately, next week I'm going to be out of town for the whole week, and I'm not going to be able to do any gaming during that time. And within the week that I have left here, I don't think I'll be able to beat it, just because it's going to be a long work week and tough. So unfortunately, Peace Walker will probably be put on hold. I don't know what I'm going to play to kill time this week, but we'll see. And after that, I will probably pick up Phantom Pain and play that. But I do want to go through and actually play Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes eventually too, to see the differences in this. This is the remake sort of Metal Gear Solid, and I'd like to see what they did in it, because I hear bad things about this, like it wasn't as well received, but then there's people who really love it. So I really want to give it a go and check it out and see all the changes and stuff. And actually start, since I understand the story now and what Big Boss and Solid Snake and everyone actually is, it'd be cool to replay that one again. But anyways, after that long intro, let's start talking about Metal Gear Solid 3. Alright, Metal Gear Solid 3, let's get into it. Where does this pick up at? This picks up with Naked Snake, so to say. He's sent out on this mission to the Soviet Union to retrieve this gentleman by the name of Sokolov. He's being held hostage there to develop this weapon for the Soviet Union, or this factious rebel group in the Soviet Union who wants to use this weapon to pretty much start war, chaos, the whole thing. So Snake gets sent in there, and when he gets in there, he winds up running into the boss. Who's the boss, so to say? Well, it's a person who actually trained him and helped him become who he is. That's pretty much who he falls under. That's his master. He's the pupil. She is the teacher, and she taught him everything she knows. And Boss pretty much starts off as you find out she has defected to the Soviet Union, and she is now helping this bad guy who is leading this group of people, Volgin, into developing this weapon to cause war, chaos, and destruction. And so it's your mission as Naked Snake to stop it all. And that's pretty much what the story is. And it's not like confusing or anything. It's there, and I guess this is the very first game meeting eventually who will become, everyone knows he will be Big Boss by the end of it. It was kind of cool seeing him in this state. Of course, I played Portable Ops, so already knowing who Big Boss is there, but just seeing him continue to grow into who he is really neat, really cool, and seeing the type of person he is, the type of ideals he holds to, and everything. But for the longest time, I was so confused. Big Boss, Solid Snake, what, Liquid Snake? What is going on here? And I won't go into this video, because in case no one's played it, don't want to spoil anything for them. But that's pretty much the gist of the story here in Metal Gear Solid 3. And I really, really enjoyed the story. It was a high point of the game, because as far as the gameplay, I found it quite easy to actually play through. As far as that, it takes on this pretty cool system as far as being in the jungle and everything. You're out there, you have your Metal Gear Solid, your moves as far as sneaking up on people, grappling them, making them pass out, or shooting them with your trank darts, whatever you want to do. But you have to start living. Okay, we got interrupted by a phone call, but hopefully that's the end of that. And back to the video. Where was I? Oh yeah, living off the environment and stuff. That's like a new concept they put in this game. Like, you have to kill wildlife or find vegetation and stuff to live off of, to watch out for your stamina gauge, which I believe is something that's new in this game. As far as your stamina affects how you move, how you walk, if you pass out, or if you get stomach aches and belly aches, and you can get cuts and bruises and break bones in this game. And that's another new thing that they have in here, where you actually have to use this cure system to actually look after yourself. I mean, you have to fix your bones with splints and bandages, and you have to fix your cuts and everything. So it's pretty cool, that little system they put in. It's not confusing or anything. It's just really simple, and it all translated really well to the PlayStation Vita touchscreen. I thought with Metal Gear Solid games, I remember the bumpers being used a lot for the game. But they seem to do just fine with missing that R2 and L2 with having it on the touchscreen. It seemed to work out just fine. Um, so yeah, just vast going through this jungle and everything, these different environments, and having to watch out for your stamina and stuff is something that's pretty new and crazy in the game. So not just having to worry about enemies, but also having to worry about your stamina and your health was kind of concerning. But as far as that, the gameplay was pretty simple because the enemies seemed kind of dumb in this game. I could sneak on them fairly easily once I learned how to do it 4.5 hours into the game. For the longest time, I was slowly walking up behind these enemies, and they were still noticing me. I was like, what the heck? But I punched them a few times, knock them out, and it was all good to go. Little did I know that holding down the L button on the Vita would let me go into a sneak mode where there I could go into CQC, close quarters combat, and start throwing down some moves, which was a neat concept of the game with the close quarters combat, where you can grab someone, throw them to the ground, keep them in a choke lock, or you can hold them up with a knife to interrogate them, hold them up with your gun from behind still and stuff again. Many different things you could do to them with the close quarters combat. And even some boss fights you could actually fight that way too, just throwing them to the ground, which is pretty neat. And that was another cool aspect of the game, the boss fights. They're always a cool thing in the Metal Gear Solid series, but how can you turn just what would seem like a gunfight into something that's fun? It's like just shooting somebody. Well, they have some really cool fights in this game. I won't give away a lot of them, but just a different variety of enemies with, of course, yeah, you do got to shoot sometimes. You just shoot them to kill them, or you could shoot them with a tranq gun to get a stamina kill on them. So you don't have to kill the enemies. You can actually go through the entire game without killing anybody. You can use your knockout or your tranq darts, or just knock them out with your fist. You don't have to kill anyone in the game, which is what I tried to do for the most part until I accidentally killed someone by slitting their throat with a knife, and it kind of went downhill from there. I still didn't kill a lot of people. I used the tranq darts a lot of times just to knock them out. But that was a cool thing with a boss fight. Shoot them with your shotgun, or shoot them with your tranq dart or something. The most memorable fight that a lot of people will remember from the game, which if you don't know by now, it is the the sniper battle in it. Which going into it, I was really excited to see how this went because I heard so much rave about it. And in the end, it wasn't that memorable. Yeah, it was a little bit easier than I thought it would be. But other than that, it was still a cool fight because I did retry it a couple times because I know if you had gotten if you hold him up with your gun, you can get his camo, and I really wanted his camo in the game, but I could never get close enough to hold him up. So that's something I would like to go back and do. But for the most part, I was able to get the stamina kill on him fairly easily once I found where he was. A few tranq darts, follow where he went, and shoot him again. So it wasn't too bad. But this offers some replayability though to like that boss fight if I want to get into a sniper battle with him. Whip out a sniper and see how I can do and just kill him. So there's some replay value there in the game and going through with your different camos that you unlock and stuff throughout the game. But the boss fights were great. The HD actually transferred really well. The foliage and stuff probably back then on PS2 was probably amazing. Because I did try playing this once on the PS2 years and years ago. But I just don't remember it being as good, like looking as good as it did on this HD version. Like I said, tons of foliage and stuff. A lot of things put there that seem kind of useless, like trees you can climb up, but I don't know why you'd have any need to climb up them. I don't know if you could do any close quarter stuff from hanging from a tree. They never really got into that, or I never needed to do it. Um, Traversing the levels and stuff was fairly easy. It's pretty much you're put in a zone of a map, get to the other side of the zone, and that's pretty much all you got to do. Until you get to some areas in the game where there's some warehouses and buildings you have to explore, that's kind of all connected. You got to try to figure out which areas you need to go to first, or else you could wind up having to do a lot of backtracking in those areas. But for the most part, you're in the jungles a lot, so there's not a ton of variety. There's some mountain levels, there's a lot of jungle, then there's some like warehouse areas. So not a huge variety of levels, but it was still fun traversing through all of those and seeing the different enemy layouts and such, and the new enemies that get introduced later on in the game. But the soundtrack that was really it's really like throwback to 007 stuff. You really feel like you're in a 007 type of movie here, like when you just first start off. It seems like that, and then especially with the Snake Eater playing, it's, excuse my bad singing, but really awesome soundtrack kept me in the game. The sounds in the game were really great as far as footsteps, animals and stuff in the background when you take steps. Just every little movement and stuff, we're picking up on these details. Even as far as visuals, walking in certain areas. I know in the end fight, you could track his footprints if you got lost of them. There's just all sorts of little fine details in the game that were really neat. The cast of characters, seeing Ocelot and stuff like that back in this game, seeing them how they started off too was really cool, and even the characters that were introduced that I'm, if they're in later games, I just don't recall, like Eva and certain people like that. So really cool cast. Really enjoyed the enemies and the boss fights. It was a lot of fun to play, and I actually beat it in, I think, what was my final time? 12 hours? I thought this was like a 20-hour game. I must have blasted through it because it being 12 hours, I was hooked on it. Um, Maybe there's better ways to challenge yourself, because I did use my trank gun a lot just to knock people out. But it was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed doing it. And I didn't kill any bosses. I actually did stamina kills on every single boss, so that was really fun to do too. I didn't want to kill any of them. All leading to a great climactic end that had some really neat boss fights near the end that kind of almost fell within an hour or so of each other. All these fights, and it was a lot of fun to play through that. So I don't know what else I could really say, because I feel like this video is just going on, but I really loved it. So glad I was able to get back into the series again. I'm glad I gave it another chance because, again, like I said, it was one that I just couldn't get hooked into. But it did start to grow on me when I booted up the game, and then I got hooked. I just wanted to see it to the end. So it's actually one I'm going to want to replay again, because I'm going to be a trophy whore with it and try to get all the trophies with it, or most of them, because I didn't get that trophy of going through not killing anyone, and I really want to get that one. That would just seem like a fun one to get or try to do. And now that I have a camo suit that lets people not even detect me, it should make it fairly easy. But yeah, really fun game. Of course, everyone knows Metal Gear Solid 3. Of course, awesome game. It's one of the best reviewed games in history of all time. But I finally got around to playing it in 2015 and finishing it. And I enjoyed every moment of it. And I can't wait to get into Peace Walker, and then into some Ground Zeroes, and then let Solid Snake be born again in Twin Stakes. So, anyways, that's enough rambling for this video. If I missed anything, I'm sorry. There's plenty of videos probably out there to cover it, but I really enjoyed my time with it and just wanted to talk about it. Alright, that's it. Like a Gamer, lagging out.